Hey guys, it's that time of year again. It is time to register to vote. So, if you are already 18 years old, or you will be either on or before November 3rd of this year, you can register today. And you definitely should. This is a major presidential election year. So, before we get started, you're going to need your Arizona driver's license or state ID, and you're going to need the last four digits of your social security number. So, pause the video and get those together if you need to. If you don't have those things, you can still register to vote. You just can't do it online. So you can register by mail. You would have to print this form here, this PDF form, and you'd have to mail it in. You can also email the Secretary of State's office for the state of Arizona or call them at this toll free number. I do have to say that during coronavirus lockdown, the Secretary of State's office does not get back to you quite as quickly as they normally would. And you might have to wait on hold for quite a while at the toll free number. All right, if you do have your ID and you have your social security number, let's get started. In a browser window, you're going to open up servicearizona.com. At servicearizona.com, this is our Department of Motor Vehicles, and you will see a button on that homepage that says voter registration. Go ahead and click that. It will ask you if you want to do this in English or Spanish. You can move forward. And this is your major voter registration website. So this form is used for everybody who's registering for the first time. If you need to change your address, if you need to change your name, if you decide that in the future that you want to change your party affiliation, all of that stuff is here. You can also check up on your registration status to see why you haven't gotten your card or something of the sort. So go ahead and click Begin Voter Registration. And this is the first page. You do have to go through these steps. You have to prove that you have say that you're a resident of the state of Arizona. That means a full-time resident. You have to say that you have never been convicted of a felony. You have not been adjudicated in a court to be mentally incompetent or incapacitated. You do have to be a citizen of the United States, and you do have to be 18 years of age by or on November 3rd of 2020. If those things are true, go ahead and continue. And in here, you're going to put in your first, middle, and last name according to what is on your driver's license or state ID. You'll then, of course, put in your birth date, the last four digits of your social, and your driver's license or ID card number. It will then, if you hit continue, pull up your DMV record. If you do not have a DMV record or it says your DMV record can't be found, again, it just means that you cannot vote, or I'm sorry, you cannot register to vote online. You will have to print the mail in form, email the Secretary of State of Arizona, or call the phone number in order to register to vote. If you do have a DMV record, it's going to come up and it's going to look something like this. You need to approve that this is your correct address and that they're pulling up the correct DMV record. If you need to change your address, this is what you would do. You would hit the change address button. So the next page, the very top of it is going to ask you what your party preference is. So the traditional big parties are Republicans and Democrats. If you choose no party preference, that's what we call independent. Independent is not its own party. It means you don't want to be affiliated with any party at all. So if you do want to be an independent, the downside is that you are not allowed to vote in a presidential primary. Those only come around once every 4 years. We just had one. The Democrats in our presidential primary in Arizona chose Joe Biden. The Republicans chose not even to hold a primary this year. They just assumed that Donald Trump would be the nominee. But you are, as an independent, allowed to vote in all other primaries, whether that be state, local, or county primaries. But they'll ask you whether you want to vote in the Republican or Democratic one. You obviously cannot vote in two primaries. Now, the rest of this page is all optional if you want to fill this out. They want to know just, background information about where you were born, your father's maiden name. Do not put in your phone number or your email here. If you put in your phone number or your email, they will give this out to political consultants and political parties. And this is how you end up getting all of those spam calls during the election, where robocalls are calling you and texting you, trying to get you to answer questions about who you want to vote for. Do not put your phone number or email in unless you definitely want to be spammed quite a bit during the election. All this other information is totally up to you. If you do in the future have to change your name, then you would change your name here. Once you have completed that one, it'll ask you Um, if you want to permanently vote by mail, this is what's called referred to as the permanent early voter list. I highly suggest you do this. If you are on the permanent early voter list, they will mail in ballots to you for every single election, large elections, small local ones that pop up when you didn't even know one that was coming. It is very convenient to vote by mail because you can take time to fill out your ballot at home. You can do a lot of research while you're filling out your ballot. You also do not need to deal with really long lines at polling places. The polling places could change at the last minute, and you would have to hunt down where you're supposed to vote because you do have to vote at one specific polling place. And then, of course, you have to have an ID when you go to a polling place, and there can be mix ups with IDs, and some polling places can accept certain IDs and not others. It's just kind of a nightmare to vote in person. So I highly suggest you hit yes, I want to vote by mail permanently. Once you're done with that, it's going to give you a confirmation, and you can pull up that confirmation page. You can confirm and submit. It will then allow you to print your confirmation. You can email it to yourself here, save it as a PDF. All of those things work. It does normally take 4 weeks for you to get your voter ID card in the mail, and you will need that if you're going to vote in person, along with an ID. Now, you are completely done. You are going to be registered to vote. If it's taking a little bit longer than 4 weeks, you can just go back into this form and you can check on the status of your voter registration. But that is it. You are a registered Arizona voter.